So let me make this clear. Watch Dogs 2 isn't a perfect game. It has some flaws. Well, a lot of flaws. But I think it's a really great game, in fact. And judging from the reviews, which were solid 8s, I may add, people seem to agree and have enjoyed it as well. It had some fairly good trailers, and that definitely did seem to do well if you look at the views and like and dislike ratio. But my question is, what made it flop? Why are there videos like these? I ask these questions because a lot of people I know hate this game, but why? It has major improvements over the first game, whether it's the graphic improvements, driving, the hacking, and the characters even. The characters, I'm aware, are controversial topics, and rightly so. I can see why people don't like them and prefer Watch Dogs 1 over Watch Dogs 2 in the character factor, and it's Ubisoft's fault for this. I'll be going over my personal thoughts on this topic and other things like the gameplay and story in this video. There'll be timestamps for this video in the description below if you are more interested about one topic more than another. I'll be talking about in this video. Also, before I go into this is my opinion and about 2 years of thoughts put into one video. What I'll be saying in this video isn't even everything that I have thoughts about. If it was, it would probably be about an hour or so long. If I don't mention certain things, it's due to spoilers or it's already been explained better than me. So, without further ado, let's begin.
It's big brother and little brother all rolled up into one.
Huh?
Sees everything you do and tells on you.
Thank you, Josh.
The characters. I want to tackle this subject first, as this is one, if not the only reason why this game didn't resonate with the majority of the player base at launch, and is why the player base doesn't compare to the first game. Before I go into why I think these characters deserve a bit of redemption and how they could have been done a lot better as characters when told in the story, I'll be going to the bad side of this topic. I'll be doing the same thing for all the other things I'll be talking about in this video, as I get where people are coming from when they say they hate the characters.
No, seriously? Activist mode? Activate.
They don't make this easy. The clip I just showed you is an example of adults trying to resonate with its audience. Let me make this clear. Not all things in this game is cringy and have moments like these. There's a bunch of other moments that are good and fun to play with in the story. And it isn't unbearable to deal with. These moments sometimes can be very funny. Like I was saying, this is one of the reasons why this game didn't do well in the sales. Lack of character. You can't expect your gamers to continue playing. Gamers continue playing a game, especially if story driven, if they have to deal with stuff like this every 15 minutes. These things are what modern media do a lot, and just cut out the character from the story, whether it be the movies, TV, books. Of course, this isn't the case of everything in media, but it seems like something that is so simple is not being taken into consideration. Okay, now let's talk about the good part of the characters, especially the better ones of the bunch. Let's start with Wrench, because before launch everyone was interested in this character. Throughout the game, he is his funny sidekick or friend of Marcus. They both love the same crappy movies and talk about the same 80s movie stuff. But when you play this mission, I'll display it here, it is learned that he's a little awkward, especially around girls. He uses his mask as a deflective device as described in the third audio log called The Man in the Mask. It's been described he had a bad childhood and has shyness as well. And like I said, the mask is used as a way to reflect his emotions. And I like this. It would have been so interesting if this was explored. If the player had more context when coming into this scene, it would have been a lot better, and this can be said about the rest of the cast of characters. I bet you didn't even know about the stuff I just said about Wrench, even if you have played this game, because how it's explained to you is through hacking these FBI towers in the mission. And they're pretty hard to find. I had to find this information on YouTube. It's pretty stupid when you really think about it. It would have been nice to learn this in a story cutscene where people could pay attention to this. Throughout the game, I see where they're going for. It just isn't executed the way I'm sure it's supposed to go. And it's a shame this goes for the rest of the cast in the story.
Hey, little problem.
What?
Here, hold this. Stand back. Great. Chip! It's a little hard to get out. Look, there's no point in trying to use the previous version's hardware to jack the new OS. Why? Because they changed the ports. Following the capitalist guide to forced obsolescence.
We are so gonna cornhole this fake-ass church.
What's cornhole?
Where the corn goes after you eat the corn, Josh.
Oh. Wait a minute. You used cornhole as a verb. That doesn't even make sense in the context if you...
Okay, we focus on Siska.
Let's talk about Josh. Now he's been growing on me more and more the more I play this game. I said more 3 times. In an audio log that can be found in the DedSec base in San Francisco, which goes into things found about Josh by Horatio. This one isn't really hard to find, so I'll give you a pass on this one. He's described as a high-function autistic. He's quiet and has different energy than the others in the team, but he's the best at the whole hacking thing than the rest of them. I find it very interesting that the quiet one of the group is considered the best at what they do. In an interview with the voice actor of Josh, Jonathan Dubsky, he said that there were different versions of how the character was going to be. One of them being some of the wrench and being cocky, and he's going to be like some YouTube star or something like that. I think it was a good choice going with what they chose for in the final product, in my opinion. In his CTUS profile, he's described as an emotionally challenged, unstable, and even low mental maturity, and wasn't accepted to any jobs. Because of this is why he was recruited in DedSec. I like Josh even though he can be a little weird and awkward, which there is a reason for that, which can be found in the DLC, which I won't get into as I think it's best that way. And there is more to him, but this video is long enough as it is, so let's just move on to my favorite character in Watch Dogs, Sitara.
It's okay, Josh. You know why?
No, Sitara. Why?
We're gonna hit him where it giga hurts.
Oh, this isn't going to be easy. Sitara is definitely a hard one to tackle, in fact. I almost didn't even want to talk about her at all, as I'm sure from what I just shown already can tell where I'm going with her, but I did my research on her, and she has some redeemable qualities. Sitara was originally from LA, but moved to San Francisco because she disliked the celebrity culture. She soon realized how bad the tech companies are and started to use her art skills to make a statement with a group of artists, but leads to the fact that the group only wanted money instead of making a statement. Her study of marketing, PR, and other art-related things has made her a core part of the San Francisco DedSec group. Not much to go on here with her, unfortunately, but this stuff is explored slightly in a cutscene, which I give them that, but it's hard to give a crap, really. That's all to the character, at least that I found. I had to go on the Watch Dogs fandom site, which is unfortunate to say the least.
They lied to you. And we promised to expose them and show you the truth. We invited you to join us, and you did. You said with one voice, we will not be lied to. We will not be afraid. We will not be silent.
I always liked Marcus. I see why other people prefer Aiden Pierce over him. Like the other characters, I have a few things to say about him. Marcus Holloway was born in Oakland. He discovered his love for computers in 2012 when he was placed in a community program. In 2013, Marcus was falsely accused of being in a high-tech robbery due to the only evidence being the HTC system established in 2012 to prevent a crime in the Bay Area, especially in Oakland. The software only made this prediction throughout Marcus's family background, and due to this, he was sent to community service as punishment. Because of the accusation towards him, he was discriminated by the people in the Oakland community. This made him go into the alias Retro. He did a lot of hacking into HTC to expose them for the flawed data gathering system. The student turned his attention to CTOS and he started working with DedSec in internet relay chats to find a weakness of CTOS on Noodle. DedSec took notice of Marcus's work and gave him a challenge, which is to erase his CTOS profile, which leads to the next part of this section, the story.
Do it. Roll fucking punch. You got everybody eating out your fucking hands thinking the system's bulletproof? You can't see the people you're stepping on.
Guess what, Marcus? Guess what? The people want to be told who is good and who is bad. They don't care how it works, only that it does.
But it doesn't fucking work.
A few fucking civilian casualties is the cost you have to pay for the betterment of the world.
As I left off in the last section of the video, the game starts off with the challenge of raising his CTOS profile. Obviously, when you beat the mission, you're recruited to DedSec and your goals are set. You need to get more followers. More followers, the more processing power you can use to take down Bloom and stop the big baddies on the top. The story takes you around a small but well-made map. You see familiar faces if you've played the first game. The story is actually pretty cool and I think it's very underrated. I like how it goes into how technology can be taken advantage of, and there's lots of things going on behind the scenes that can be taken advantage of by false systems or hackers. Like, stuff like this has happened with major companies like Facebook, Snapchat, and other major companies, tech companies. This stuff isn't noticed in the world in the game. Cast members have scenes in the game, especially between Marcus and Wrench. There's some moments between the characters, and that clearly is supposed to have the player to care for the characters. If done correctly, I think people would appreciate the game and not say it's a terrible game. Like I said, there isn't too much I want to go into the story, as it's more due to the lack of character development I felt this game needed. So I'm going to do a brief list of how I think the story could be better. For one, like I said, the characters need some more development. Learn what their problems and pasts are so we can relate and love them. Aang's Pierce motivations were clear and simple. People killed Nice. Okay, I'm going to make sure he pays what he did. Simple. While I had to play this game 3 times to actually understand the story and the characters and what they were trying to go for and actually make this video, I'm not the only one that seems to have thought this. If I were to ask someone who even liked Watch Dogs as much as I do, they would have said, oh, I thought the characters were pretty funny. Yeah, this is true, but this isn't all the characters have to offer. If these people were established more, then I'm sure there would have been a different reception from this game, a more positive one even. It is important for the players to be engaged in a game to continue the story, and this is one of the problems with the story of this game, lack of character development. Also, before we move on to the gameplay, in the story you have to have the option to tackle missions stealthily. Being a guy who loves a challenge, I do things stealthily and I find it very rewarding. But having freedom to the player like this without consequences is bad, considering that you're trying to get more followers to take out Bloom. There's actually a video that goes into this topic and other ways to improve Watch Dogs 3 by UB Central. I'll leave his video in the description below. Gameplay in Watch Dogs 2 can be very fun and super engaging, especially if you play with the online setting. More on this later. But I like talking about the bad before going to the good, but no one I've seen actually ever talk about the stealthful. The stealth is pretty simple. You press the melee button and the animation plays and you kill the enemy. I do like that you can use a stun gun, but they can wake up over time or if another enemy wakes them up. Similar to the first game, you can stun enemies or kill the enemies, but for players like myself, skilled and smart, I usually like to get my hands dirty and go for the kill. But let's say you get spotted while the animation is playing. Marcus still is choking him out, but by the time the animation is done, you may as well consider yourself dead. Please fix this for the next game, UB. I'm sure I speak for a lot of people on this. Please fix it, that's all I ask. Let's talk about the parkour free running. I'd say this is a good step up from the Watch Dogs 1. Marcus can do front flips, back flips, somersaults, vaults over objects, and other things to forget as I'm writing the script. It makes going through the back alleys more fun, even if it sometimes looks kind of magnetic. Did I spell that right? Kind of magnetic. The gunplay is pretty nice. You only have 2 weapons this time, which adds a little of choice of what weapons to have depending on the playstyle of the player. Overall, the gameplay isn't much of a problem. I just want to get my complaints out of there. The open world is another controversial topic. People miss the dark and rainy open world of Chicago, while San Francisco is bright and colorful. But to be honest, I think this works especially since the tone of the game isn't as dark compared to Watch Dogs. This is a game about hacking, and it brings the opportunity to have cool levels and cool things you can do in an open world. Such as in a story mission, you can break into Google and explore the insides of it to erase someone's profile. I also love that you can take pictures of locations and people can even photobomb your photos. And there is actually dogs you can pet, which is...
What's up, dog?
Wow, so adorable. Sorry, I love my dogs. The open world consists of side missions, online missions you can do by yourself or with other players online, about 30 side missions and about 15 main missions, and multiple collectibles I'm too lazy to count. And that's not including downloadable content along with it, which costs about $40. Not too much to talk about here. What's next? Oh gosh. Oh, Online. Oof.
Watch and learn, my friend.
I give Ubisoft this. We were able to get free online content for like a year. Still, this isn't enough, and one of the problems with the game is really replayability. It's bad enough majority of the player base doesn't like the story. Even if someone wanted to replay it, isn't that easy due to how each mission is laid out. Like literally, you have to go on a phone and you have to select which part of the mission you can do, and you can't even replay all of them as well. That's even the most annoying part. You have to manually select which section of the mission you play, and it was so annoying when trying to get footage for this. Sorry, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the online. Excuse me. Where were we? Yeah. There is 3 game modes that was available at launch. One being Bounty Hunt, another being Co-op, and Hacking Invasion. I'm not going to describe all of these modes due to the sake of time, and I also don't really want to talk about them really. It's more of the lack of online content that came along with this game. When Watch Dogs 1 first came out, you were able to play with 8 players online, and 2, you were able to play up to 4 players at launch in that Bounty Hunt game mode. But the last update to the game allowed for a 4-player free mode. Free roam mode? Okay. 4-player free roam mode. And at this point, most players have left the game. Some come back, but it's the problem with a lot of online games nowadays. There isn't enough content that keeps the players coming back. That's one of the reasons I played the story a second time, and probably a third time now I think about it. And it's why this game isn't praised like the first one. They never even did any major changes to fix some things. Like, for example, the grenade launchers are way too OP, and they never address inline problems like these, like with a patch. Or I'm sure there's a credible reason there is only a 4-player co-op, keeping the game at a decent frame rate, as in Watch Dogs 1 had a fair share of frame rate drops. But why add this so late? Did the launch really have an effect on the content drops? I do appreciate bringing this out even when the player count was at a low point. I had fun in these game modes like Showdown, even with the grenade launchers. Overall, the online game modes are fun, even with the annoying and pesky grenade launchers. I hate them as a weapon, but overall, I'm sure there is plenty of fun to be had with it to this day. And if executed better, I'm sure the game would be alive and thriving a lot more than what it currently is now, which is unfortunate. Like I said, a lot of the things in this game usually has so much potential, but it's just either thrown away for something else that doesn't really matter. Overall, Watch Dogs 2 is a fun and great time to play. If you haven't played it already, I recommend you do. It's like right now $9 on Xbox Live. If you have an Xbox, go for it. With the context I gave you, I'm sure that you will enjoy it better than what I did the first time. And I really hope this video gets out to a lot of people. So with that being said, like, share, comment. I hate saying it, but it supports the channel, so I'd appreciate that. And that being said, thank you for watching to the end. I have other plans for what to do with the channel. Thank you for all sticking with me. I know it's been a weird off and on situation for those who's been following me. Speaking of following, I have an Instagram and Twitter that would be in the description below if you are interested. And this has gone on way too long, so let me just end it here. Thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you all next time, I guess, hopefully.